The Them 909 has unintentionally become my main skate, and it's been exactly 1 year since I purchased it, and I've noticed a few things about it, and I want to tell you about it and do a quick follow-up review. Starting off from top to bottom, we'll go with what I changed from the boot and why. And obviously the first thing you see from top to bottom is the liner. I have changed from the stock liner to the Intuition Premium, and I am surprised by how much just changing the liner has changed the feel of the skate. It completely moves all the kind of points around. Like even like where my toes feel on the boot feels completely different with this liner. But the original liner wasn't uncomfortable. I didn't really have any issues with it at all. The biggest improvement I see with swapping to this one is that little shock absorber heel thing that comes in Intuitions makes me feel like there's enough shock absorption in the skate like this, whereas with the stock liner, I felt like I needed footprint insoles. But yeah, I didn't change this because I needed to change it. I just changed it because I had the opportunity to try out the Intuition, and yeah, and I wanted to do that. And I will make a full video about that at some point, so I'll move on from that. But yeah, the stock liner, I still have them. I skated these for maybe like 3 months. I talked about these in my original review too, but I would not expect these to last a whole year. I think they probably would last a year, but you definitely want to replace them by then. This is a fine liner, but I do not see it lasting, although that is just theory at this point. I don't know. Moving down the skate, I still have this stock cuff, obviously, but I did rock her up. That's one thing I had to change. I prefer it rocketed down on the stock liner, but on the Intuition, it needs to be rocketed up. Like, look, it's still got, the liner is so tall, even when it's rocketed up. I feel like it needs it, and I do prefer it like that. And it's cool to have that option. Moving down, I've got my laces still. This is still the like sample one that I had, and I really think the laces are more important to why I like this skate more than anything. Not just my laces, which are the perfect length for them skates, if you're wondering. I think this boot heavily relies on the laces, and that you can really change the feel and the like solidness of the skate through the laces. So I kind of wish I did skate them with the stock laces, but I instantly swapped the line, obviously. But there has been a time where I skated them without waxed hockey lace, with the more weak, stretchy laced, and it was horrible. I couldn't stand the skate anymore. It was so unresponsive. I could barely skate down the street without it feeling so out of control. So yeah, I think there's actually a big key part as to why I really like this skate right now. Is I think it needs to have good laces in it, you know. Another thing I changed on the skate was I got the Fruit Tech hardware upgrade for these. Once again, it was a gift for me. I didn't need it by any means, but it was a great upgrade. Every key on this now, every sole plate bolt, the buckle bolts and everything are all hex keys now, which is good. Which yeah, they were round, and it does feel like a massive upgrade once you put them in. I definitely recommend them. They're great. And moving now, obviously I got it's just the newer sole plate. We'll come back to that though. I am skating the 50/50 prime frames right now. I did really like the Them frames. I think they're really good. The groove I found was in a really nice spot for me. It was very natural for me to do boot down royales and even do them switch and stuff. And it was actually probably my favorite flat frame and my favorite flat setup out the box on a skate probably ever, because I find that flat frames either kind of go two ways. They either have a really tall and narrow groove, which is kind of hard to do switch ups in, or they're like too low or too wide and wheel bitey. And I felt like the Them frame for me was like in a perfect spot for me. The only reason I'm not skating it and I ended up swapping it out is because for some reason it was making all my wheels clacky. I swapped out the wheels and bearings on them, and everything I put in those frames would eventually sound like you're tap dancing, you know, when you're walking around in the skates. Like it was stretching the core, something weird was happening. I think I just got unlucky there. I haven't heard anyone else talk like that about the Them frame. I'm pretty gutted about that. I do recommend if that happens to you that you reach out to them. They'll definitely sort you out. But yeah, the 50/50 prime frame has been good for me. I actually like it. It's similar to the Them, not quite as nice. But yeah, I did a whole review about it already, so I won't go into it. But it's been a good flat setup. The wheels I'm skating to, everyone's been asking me, because they've really changed color, but they're the Chroma China, the V1s. They were blue, now they've turned like the perfect shade of green to match the skate, and I really like the look of this setup. But yeah, that's all the changes I made. Now moving on to how much wear I've seen of the skate in a year. You probably saw already, but I've really worn down the cuff at this point. Like it is barely hanging on there. I think this is the foot that I fall on and rely to like slide on ramps and stuff. So yeah, it's still hanging in there though at the end of the year, but yeah, man, that's like one fall away from having a big hole in it. But even with the hole in it, it's probably fine if you don't mind looking a bit, you know, like your skates are a bit destroyed. Down to the sole plate, this is where I've seen a lot of wear. Is this the right foot? This is my left foot. I need my right foot. Hold up. This is really hard to show on camera, but the sole plate here there's so much of it missing now in this corner. It's just completely rounded, which I've found has made it hard to kind of lock top sides and stuff on ledge. On rail, it's fine, but on ledge, yeah, like stuff like any kind of alley-oop topside and stuff feels very slidey now. And yeah, I think I've worn these down to the end of their life, and they would definitely need some new sole plates. Funnily enough, though, I think most of that has happened in the last 30 days. I upped my skating a lot just to put into preferences what you can expect to get out of these skates. I usually skate like once a week, once or twice a week here and there, but for the last month I've been skating every single day, and a lot more wear has happened in that time. So I have been thrashing these recently, and I think that's why they've started to wear out. I do mostly skate park though, so nothing too rough. Checking my switch foot, man, there is not like almost no wear on this sole plate compared to my right, which man, I need to up my switch game, I think. But yeah, there's still lots of life left on my switch foot, so if you don't do many sole grinds, you don't do many grinds, you'll be fine, you know? Moving on to the boot, there is something I noticed that is kind of weird, and it's something I noticed about the 908s too, and it's the plastic in the shell kind of really changes over time, especially with heat, because there's been times when I'm skating the skate now where I think my buckle is coming down or something, and I look down and nothing's wrong, and all that's happened is just the plastic has kind of lost all structure, and it's like the most flexy skate, especially the cuff, man. It gets so flexy. I think I have some footage of it happening, but you can see how much it bends, man. It bends like there is nothing holding it there, which doesn't feel great, you know. There's a line where they're kind of a little bit flexy, but yeah, there's multiple times in the day where I start to be worried about my ankles and stuff because of how flexy the skate gets. And it doesn't ever get that hot here in New Zealand compared to the rest of the world. We have very mild weather, so like I'm skating in like probably like 22 degrees Celsius, you know, nothing that hot. And yeah, they're feeling very floppy and mounty, and I think that's just come with the plastic aging, because it wasn't like that when I was first skating them. I haven't really noticed this too, but I just checked there, and the buckle was quite beaten up here on my right foot. It still works fine though. The buckles are holding up good. These are the old buckles too. There's better ones now. Well, at least I hope they're better. But yeah, I've definitely bent this buckle up, missing a few tricks. But yeah, it's all working fine. And yeah, that's everything I've really noticed about skating these for the last year. Overall, I think you can expect to get a good year out of a pair of 909s with skating like once or twice a week for like 5-6 hours, you know. But unlike other skates where you could just buy some replacement parts, I don't think that'll be the case with this one, which is definitely a negative. You can't, I think if I went and bought like a new cuff and a new sole plate for these, just the plastic of the boots kind of changed so much now that I might as well just get a whole new boot at that point, you know. And comparing that to like a Razor skate or like even an M12 or something, you wouldn't have to do that. So it's definitely somewhat negative, and I am somewhat disappointed in the durability of the skate, but it's fine. It's definitely, there's no red flags there. It lasts long enough, and I'm still skating it. It's still skatable, but yeah, it's not on par with other skates in my opinion. The Them skate still is my go-to skate. I absolutely love it, even despite being how worn out it is right now. I think it has a really good size sole plate. It has good flex when it's not too hot. And overall, I really enjoy skating it. I have a few other options to skate right now, and I usually just always want to pick this one. It feels like old reliable to me. I like the grooves, I like the sole play, I like the feel. And yeah, it's a good skate, and I'm thoroughly impressed with this one compared to the Them 908. I definitely think it's a lot better, and hopefully this helped you out. Huge thank you to my patrons for making this video possible. If you want to support me, consider joining. That would help me out a lot. And if you have any questions about the skate, ask them below. I'll get back to you and let you know. Hopefully I haven't forgot anything too big in this video. But yeah, thank you so much for watching to the end, and I hope you get to go for a skate today. See you later.